Hi, my name is Melissa Smith, and this is my visual aid for my speech. What if you had to be cautious of everywhere you went? What if you couldn't trust many people because you always had the thought in the back of your head that someone was out to get you or someone was trying to trick you? Or what if you were hated by most people in the world? Welcome to the African American community. African Americans have been hated by many other races for the last few centuries and are still going through the same hatred today. It's 2020 and we still have to fight for the same rights we've been fighting for since the 1950s, the 1850s, etc. Today, I will discuss these topics and I have sources from history.com, American Progress, and etc. that prove African Americans still have no justice. According to the Washington Post, nearly two-thirds of African Americans say it is a bad time to be a black person in the US by Washington Post. But why is that? Well, we have to take it all the way back to the slavery days. About 400 years ago, when white people came to Africa and brought Africans to America against their will, they made them work relentlessly and be treated less than a dog when all this started. And why? Because white people believed that they were superior to African Americans. That's why they beat them anytime they felt like they didn't do what they wanted. That's why they worked them all day and night because they felt that that kind of work was for people that were less than them, that were less superior to them. But you might be thinking that was a long time ago. So let's go to segregation. Now, according to History.com, it stated the first steps towards official segregation came in the form of black codes. There were laws passed throughout the South starting around 1865. 1865. Then the Civil Rights Act was signed in 1964, outlawing discrimination, meaning that basically in 1964, segregation was illegal. So from 1865 to 1964, there was segregation between blacks and whites. Black kids had to attend less funded schools. Black kids had to sit on the back of the black people had to sit in the back of the bus or give up their seats for white people, people that look just like us but have a different skin complexion. Just let that settle in. Even though slavery was abolished, white people hated African Americans so much they had to build a wall between the two races to establish who was a better race. And what makes it even worse is even though segregation ended in 1964, there's still racism even today in 2020. Over 25 African Americans just this past year have died to unfairness of the police system. You know some of their names: George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, etc. In addition, American Progress has said that prime age unemployment is historically higher for black workers than white workers. So you mean to tell me it's 2020? We're supposed to be having change, fairness for all, but African Americans are more employed than any other race. We're treated unfairly by the justice system that's supposed to protect us, and we're still marching out in the streets for things we have been asking for since 1865 and 1964. In conclusion, African Americans have been fighting for freedom and justice for years, and unfortunately, we haven't gotten either or. That's why I chose the image that I did. Through all the decades and centuries of fighting and dying for change, we still haven't received it yet. Instead, more barriers are made to keep us from being successful, and more of us keep dying. So, let me ask you this question again. Would you want to be an African American?